Guys, I hope you all know Dr. Akshima. So she's one of our mentor from CCPDS, and she's taking multiple interviews in her organization. And for today's mock interview also, she'll be our recruiter from our side for the mock interview, and you has to face her questions. So the only condition here is that you have to keep your video on because we want to see your confidence as well. Okay, and one by one, you both can answer whatever the questions were asked by, will be asked by, Dr. Akshima, and everyone is on silent anyways. So they can just write the questions. They cannot speak. Okay, and if any corrections, Dr. Akshima will do. She is here. So, and if any questions from the audience, from the people, we will take later once the interview is over. So let's not stretch it more. I think I will give the charges to Dr. Akshima. Dr. Akshima, over to you. I'll be one of the audience for all of you guys. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ajit. Hi, Srishti, and hi, Akshay. I guess Akshay was the other. Ashay.
Vishal.
Vishal. Okay.
Yes.
So let's start with the discussion and this mock interview session. So first I'll introduce myself. I am Dr. Akshima. I am a dental graduate by profession, but I switched to medical writing more than a decade ago, and it's been more than 10 years that I am into medical writing industry, where I have explored various domains of medical writing, ranging from regulatory to content to scientific. And currently I'm working as a scientific writing writer in one of the organizations based out of India. And basically I'm heading one division of that organization, and being the overall in charge of one of the key projects within that particular space in the medical communication and med info space. So let's start with the interview session, but before you start giving me the answers, I just want to tell you all that how good one might be in the technical skills, but if one is not confident in an interview round, generally the selection process varies, so you could be very good technically, but facing the interview and answering the questions with confidence, that adds a lot of value to your selection process. So that was all about me, and a little bit brief about the interview sessions. What to say, what not to say, we'll discuss in the end, but I'll give this opportunity to Vishal and Srishti. And so the first question to both of you is, can you just briefly introduce yourselves? And also when you will be answering your questions, then after you are done with the answers, maybe then we can take a short break and can discuss about the answers, what could be the appropriate answer, or how would I have answered that particular question if I would have been in your place, and is there any scope of improvement, or what can additionally be done, or what can be redacted from the answer you have said. So, okay, first, I'll give the opportunity to Srishti. Srishti, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Srishti Singh. I'm currently residing in Dehradun, Uttarakhand. And my educational profile includes my schooling from Delhi, whereas my bachelor's, that is bachelor's in pharmacy, has been done from Uttaranchal University, Dehradun itself, and master's in pharmacology has been done from SGRRU, Dehradun.
Vishal, now it's your turn.
Thank you, ma'am. I am Vishal Kumar. I am recognized for my communication and leadership skills. I am pursuing Bachelor of Pharmacy from DIT University, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. I got gold medal in Diploma in Pharmacy from Access Institute of Pharmacy, UP. I am highly committed and motivated. I would like to bring in my knowledge to help you meet in the company, to you meet the company requirements.
Okay, so the good part about you and the things which can be rectified, I'll just share that. Srishti, you gave your brief introduction, but that was only the professional or the academic introduction you gave. And Vishal, you started with your personal introduction, how you are as a person. But my recommendation would be that if you can start with your professional background, your academic background, and then followed by the assets you have or the follies you have maybe in your interview session. So if I would have been in your place, I would have answered something like that, that I am Akshima and I am a dental graduate from so-and-so university. I have worked in the medical writing space for more than 10 years. I have explored various domains of medical writing, regulatory safety, content, scientific, and talking about my strengths. I am a committed person, maybe, and whatever strengths you want to narrate about yourself. And talking about the where you will never say that my weakness. You can say that the areas of improvement. What you think. So I would say that I believe that I can improvise on my communication skills or maybe my interpersonal skills, whatever you feel. Okay. So this is the right way of introducing yourself. First, by your academic background or your qualification or maybe if you're working in a company, then you can tell about that, and then followed by your personality. So this is the right way of introducing yourself. Dr. Ajit, if you want to add anything to this particular answer, yeah.
Dr. Akshima, I think you should go ahead with this. I will add wherever I need, no problem. Okay.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question is, can both of you share any key challenge you experienced in your life till now, and how did you decipher that particular concern? What you all did to decipher that challenge? How did you overcome it? First, Srishti, maybe you can answer.
Well, I played one key role in my academics. During academics, I was a part of a group which was there for a project. Okay, for project. So I was the head of that project, but along with that, I had to command another project as well. So I had to use my time management skills so that I do not lower down the impact of any one of the project. So I consulted my supervisor, and for the time management skills, they guided me through it. That how can you overcome that?
Okay, Vishal, now it's your turn.
Thank you, ma'am. I remember when I am doing my internship in a hospital in a rural area, many new challenges that I face in patient counseling, and sometimes 12 to 14 hours of duties given in hospital. It really feels challenging to me. But it definitely it gives me a new experiences. I involve in dispensing medicines and other activities in hospitals as well.
So that's I mean, but that challenge is, I mean, I cannot see that is a very I mean, maybe that is more of an professional challenge you face, right? But there could be challenges which might which might be related to your, personal life also, or maybe when you're stuck up in a situation, how did you overcome it? It is not necessary that you share that challenge, but even if you are sharing an academic challenge, then you really need to tell the difficulties you faced. So here Srishti told that her mentor guided her that how can she overcome that challenge. But exactly what was the concern, maybe I could not gather that. And Vishal, you mentioned that you faced the challenge while counseling the patients, or maybe handling the patients. So that is one good challenge, one good, I mean, I could understand that challenge. So it is more related to your interpersonal skills or interpersonal difficulty which you faced while interacting with the people, right? So I would say that Srishti, the challenge did come out that well. I mean, I could not see it as much of a challenge, but in Vishal's case, I could see that more of the challenge surfacing from during his tenure in that particular domain. So my suggestion would be that in the end, Vishal, that you can say that during that challenge you learned how important are interpersonal skills while we are working in the research space, or whatever XYZ. Even if your plan is to enter a corporate sector, the role of the interpersonal skills, or the role of a stronger personality coming out of every situation comes out. So whenever your interviewer is asking a question, it is not necessary that you need to tell about that, okay, a mountain fell on my head. Only that is a challenge. A challenge could be a simple challenge, but then challenge has to look like a challenge, right? I mean, mentor guiding, it's a very small thing. I mean, I don't see that it's a challenge. We routinely face that challenge. Maybe you could have said that I was working in a team and I was not perceived correctly. Then I approached my mentor. He guided me that, you need to make strong bonds. You need to tell about your work. I mean, something like that. So whatever you are telling to the interviewer, it has to come out very strongly. Neither it should look fake. It has to be a real-time situation, but then it has to come out strongly. So that is my recommendation to the answer.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely. Similarly, I would like to share one of my challenge, if Dr. Akshima accept it. So when we come to the challenge means when you are really facing a problem and you are showing your what we say the problem solving skills. Okay, something like when I was doing my PhD and with my graduation. So what I had done is, like, I mean, I have written a grant during my PhD only. We got a lot of good grant from the Novartis, but the Indian regulators, they were not accepting a PhD as a student to make the PI of the clinical trial. Okay, they were like, people should be from the academic background or something, then only they would be PI. But I told, when I can get the grant on my name, why I can't be the PI? Okay, so then I really struggled for 6 months. I what we say, I gathered the evidences from international scenarios, from Australia, from USA, and I spoke to WHO. I spoke to NIH, this NLM, National Library of Medicine, because we usually register our CTRI. We get the CTRI number from them, our clinical trial numbers from them. I gathered all the evidences, definitely, but I did not, what we say, lose my patience. I did not, what we say, like, okay, I'm the PhD, I will not be the PI. When I got the grant, I have to be the PI because that was mine. And I had to take it as a challenge. I took it and I submitted all the evidences. I fought almost 6 months, 3-4 times. I went to Delhi. I sent the emails multiple times, and then at the end, they they finally gave the green flag. Okay, you go ahead, you can be. So that kind of challenges might be where you have the problem solving skills, and you have that guts to fight with them to overcome. So that kind of challenges would be definitely, I could be considered. So yeah, that's from my side.
Yeah, very very well narrated, Dr. Ajit, because that's the challenge. Now here you can see the strong personality which Dr. Ajit is having, because many people will fall short of confidence. Okay, I have to be if I have to be PI, maybe I have to do the MBBS degree, or that kind of scenario where your peers, that kind of pressure from the peers, or maybe that can put down a person even. There his strong personality is being reflected. So whatever answer you are giving, it should reflect your persona, your personality holistically.
Yes.
So it cannot be a simple challenge. Even if it is a simple challenge you are narrating, then you have to come out that why it was, even it looks simple, but it has to come out very strong. And it is not to be fake, because interviewers are quite smart. They
Yes, definitely.
can they will make out whether you are saying truth or a lie. So
Definitely.
yeah, thank you, Dr. Ajit, and it was truly inspiring. I
Thank
mean,
you,
I
Dr.
would not have been able to do it honestly, maybe the way you have done it. Thank
Thank
you. So the next question is, can you please tell about the happiest day of your life? Vishal, retrospectively, which was your happiest day in your life?
Thank- Ma'am, well, I try to make every day happy, but when the question is of the happiest day, I can say that the moment when I got the gold medal in diploma in pharmacies, it was a memorable moment for me.
Okay, okay, nice. And Srishti, yours?
Ma'am, that will be when my mother had an attack just before my viva, and even though she came out well, and I had to go on next day for the viva, so I think I did really well on my master's viva. Even after half an hour of sleep, I think I did. That was the happiest day of my life.
Okay. So very nice. Happiest day, Vishal. I know having a gold medal is definitely one of the most memorable moments, and that cannot be. I mean, nobody can say that it can't be the happiest day of their life. And Srishti, the happiest day, definitely it must be one of the happiest day of your life. But you can also narrate it as one of the challenges you faced. So here your strong personality is coming out, right? Because since your mother was unwell, but still you faced the viva and you came up with flying colors. So you maybe can add this as the bucket it under the most
Challenge.
challenging thing
Yes.
and how you overcame it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but well answered by both of you. Okay, so what are your hobbies, or what do you like to do in your free time? Vishal, first you, and then followed by you, by Srishti.
So, in my available time, I try to improve my skills according to the need of the coming time, and for all and for my overall development. And I consider myself fortunate that how easy it was become to gain knowledge in today's era in just one click, so that I use my available times to gain some other knowledges which helps me in the future.
Yeah, Srishti, your turn.
As a person who's always curious about knowledge, I prefer reading about things that I just heard about. It could be a simple headline, or it could be anything a person spoke to me. So I will read further about it and know what happened. And other than that, reading novels and listening music.
Yeah, very well answered, both of you. But Vishal, maybe what you do in free time is could be on a little lighter note as well. That's very good. You try to improvise yourself, but we not only do that every time. You might be playing cricket, you might be having some hobby, right? So when an interviewer is judging you, we really don't want to hire robots. Okay, it's good that people are committed towards the profession, but having an overall personality, or maybe having some kind of hobby, like just like Srishti mentioned, that adds value to your personality. I mean, if you are if you are into reading, painting, cricket, even sleeping could be a hobby. Like for me, sleeping is a hobby, because in free time I would like my mind to relax. Watching TV, Netflix, anything you want to say, that could be bucketed under as a hobby. Definitely, if you are trying to improvise yourself in your free time, that is one very good thing. But I'm sure you must be doing other things. Might be cooking, might be helping your parents. Why can't we say that? So interview is not only about the technical skills, it is also about judging your personality holistically. So and then you can relate that hobby to your work also. Like if, for example, Srishti said that she likes to read and she likes to explore the topics which somebody has told her, or maybe she's come through news or whatever. So that shows that she is quite inquisitive, and she wants to learn about things. And maybe, for example, you say that your hobby is playing cricket. So why not? I mean, you can then say that I get mentally charged up, and then I can concentrate on my work. I have, I mean, then you can probably relate things. But on a hobby could be on a lighter note as well. That's what I wanted to say. Don't make your answers too much interview oriented. That would be my suggestion. Vishal, otherwise, what is your hobby? Okay, this was your answer, but otherwise, what do you do?
Yes, ma'am. I actually do in my free time, like I play football with my friends in a hostel. So that was also doing my, but it is not in a daily routine. It will only takes in Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, so you can say that, there's no problem. Okay. Okay, I want to hear from the audience as well, if they have any questions, or they have any doubts with the questions we have done so far.
Yes, guys, you can write if you have any questions. Oh, you want to talk? Okay, let me allow you to talk. You can talk also. You can open your mic and speak. I think they're good listeners.
Yeah. So the next question is, like, for example, if you have worked quite hard in achieving in achieving a task, and then you somehow unfortunately fail in achieving the final outcome or the result. So how would you handle that stress? What would you do to kind of, pull yourself up in that situation, because you have failed? So what would you do? For example, you've been trying for a medical writing job since past 1 year, and you're not able to crack even a single round of interview. What would you do, Srishti?
Ma'am, the first thing I do is I quiet down in this kind of situation, because my mind needs to rest after such a failure. It needs to rethink, revise, and replan. So I think that is necessary. A quiet time and a bit of rest.
Okay. Vishal, your answer? Vishal, you need to unmute yourself. You are on mute.
Okay. As we all know that the success and the failures both are a part of a life. I remember when I gave my 3 years to NEET UG, and after that not getting success. I was feeling a little low, but at that time, the guidance of my parents and elders would help me to overcome and move forward in life to bring new opportunities. I handle failure by seeing my past success and motivate to myself to move forward.
Yeah, so very well answered by both of you. I liked Srishti's answer because she told that she'll take a break, or she'll, try to refresh her mind and reinvent ideas based on her previous, bad experience or whatever has happened. So having that kind of break is sometimes quite necessary in life. And I like Vishal's answer also, because here he has gone to his elders, like he's approached the elders to seek advice in case the failure happens. So both are good strategies. And I think this was quite well answered by both of you. Okay, so that was the last question about the personality round. Now we will switch to a bit of the pharmacovigilance questions. You are looking for positions in pharmacovigilance domain. So let's start with from the very basics. What do you understand by pharmacovigilance? Srishti, can you answer?
Ma'am, as per the WHO definitions, it can say that we work on drugs. Okay, how it affects us, how we have to understand it, we have to analyze it, we have to prevent the adverse effects. So I think that's how, from my understanding from pharmacovigilance, would be how do I deal with a mishap that is caused by a drug.
Vishal, your answer?
Yes, ma'am. We all are aware that the food habits and the today's polluted environments, these are the main reasons that the medicines have reached the every home today. And at the same time, we cannot deny that it has serious adverse effects. And to monitor these effects, the pharmacovigilance came into the picture. Basically, this term is derived from the two different origin. The pharmacon is terms is from the Greek word, which means the drug, and another term that is vigilare, which is comes from the Latin origin, which means to watch. And according to the World Health Organization, it is defined as the activities and the science which is relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of the adverse effects in either in short term or in the long term use of the medicines. And to see these kind of situations in India, so that the Indian government will also launch its program named the Pharmacovigilance Program of India in 2010 to monitor these adverse effects across the country.
Okay, thank you for the answers. I think this answer was very well explained by Vishal. So what is needed when we are talking about, if some interviewer is asking you about the direct question, what is pharmacovigilance? So there are two parts how you will answer that question. Obviously, the answer cannot be, I would say that cannot be mugged up, because we know that there is a set definition for pharmacovigilance, which talks about, I had remembered it like DOP, detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse events related by the vaccine or the drug which is being given to the human population. Okay. But what I liked in Vishal's answer is that he amalgamated the definition also, and he had given his thought process also. Okay, so he had mentioned about the prevention, detection, understanding, or the four key terms, how I had remembered during my time. And also he had given his view about pharmacovigilance. He also told that which pharmacovigilance program is running in India and from which year. So that shows that he's just didn't remember the definition, but he has also studied a little bit in detail about pharmacovigilance. So this answer was, I'll give better scoring to Vishal on that. Right, Claire? Okay, coming to the next question. Can you name few regulatory bodies? Okay, Srishti, your turn first. My question was audible or not? Srishti? Hello? Vishal, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you answer that question? I don't know, Srishti is not unmuted herself, yeah.
Okay, ma'am. In India, the regulatory bodies is CDSCO, that is Central Drug Standard Control Organization, and in USA there is the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, and in UK, United Kingdom, there is a MHRA, that is the Medical and Healthcare Regulatory Agencies, MHRA, and in Australia there is a TGA, that is Therapeutic Goods and Administration. So these regulatory bodies can do in their respective countries, and they regulate the pharmacovigilance programs.
Yes, very well mentioned, Vishal. Srishti, would you like to add few more regulatory bodies which are operational around the world? Srishti is switched off her camera.
I think please keep on your mic, Srishti. Japan PND. Yes, she's back. Mike, please open your mic.
Srishti,
Open your mic. Please try joining again, Srishti. So guys, a quick check in between. Like if, when we are in the interview and we do not know some answers, we should directly, say that we have no answer for this. Right?
Is my voice audible now?
Yes, you are audible, Srishti. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, these are the same regulatory bodies I've also studied about, but there's one more of Japan, that is PNGA.
Okay, so
PNDA.
okay, and what is the full form of that?
Ma'am, I don't remember that.
So if I can recall correctly, it is Pharmaceutical and Medicinal Devices Agencies, PMDA. That's the full form. Please check it. But for me, I think this is the complete full form of PMDA. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me what is an adverse drug event? Vishal, can you answer what is an adverse drug event?
Yes, ma'am. The adverse drug event is basically defined by the ICH harmonized guidelines. According to that, there is no relations, there is no causal relationship between the medicines and the event. It will be anything after the taking of that medicines, but there is no causal relationship like we see in adverse drug reactions. So any kind of events which will be not directly happen due to involvement of the medicines are termed as adverse drug event.
Okay. So if that event is not related to the drug, then why are we monitoring such events?
Because it is important that if somebody can take medicines, for an example, if the medicines are for to regulate the insulin level in our body, and they also cause the sedations. So that means if any persons can take that medicines and they drive and during that period, if say if they feel drowsiness, so it will be and after onwards they hit someone. So that kind of events will not directly related to that drug, but this shows some relationships with that drug, so that we need to monitor those events to target those kind of side effects or adverse side effects, which will be not directly, but it will somewhat it will be related to the medicines.
Okay, so your definition was correct, Vishal, but the answer that why we are monitoring it was partially correct and incorrect also, because this particular ADE is an untoward medical occurrence that when that happens, that has to have a causal relationship with the does not necessarily has to have a causal relationship with that particular drug. So why we are monitoring it? So that we are clear, or maybe we know that it is not related to drugs. So when you told that it directly or indirectly, no, ADE is not related to the drug. Okay. For example, these days people are talking about COVID-19 vaccine. Okay. And we have been listening that there is that a lot many youngsters are going through cardiac arrest after having that vaccine. So people, we have been listening that people are saying that maybe this is related to the COVID-19 vaccine, but studies or clinical data or even the pharmacovigilance activity which has happened till now has revealed that there is no causal relationship of COVID-19 vaccine with cardiac arrest. So that particular drug or vaccine has no indirect relationship also. The causality of cardiac arrest could be something else, maybe the lifestyle of the youth, maybe the sedentary lifestyle which has happened over past 3 years. So directly or indirectly, no relationship with the drug or the vaccine or investigational drug or vaccine or even the biologic, because we do PVG for biologics also. So no relationship with these to the event. No direct, no indirect. Okay. You have to be very clear on that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, Srishti, can you tell me what is an adverse drug reaction?
Any sudden or unwanted reaction of the drug is called adverse reaction.
Sorry, come again. Can you repeat?
Any unwanted sudden reaction from the drug is known as adverse reaction.
So it is related to the drug or not related?
It is related to the drug.
Okay.
It
And
forms a causal relationship.
is it always sudden? Is
Uh,
ADR always sudden? Because you mentioned sudden.
Ma'am, because there are chances we may not know that it is going to happen.
But it cannot be always sudden. You know that if you are aware that certain drugs are withdrawn from the market, for example, Coxib is one of under this Coxib group drugs have been removed from the market or withdrawn from the market because after long-term pharmacovigilance studies, it was found that those drugs are carcinogenic. Okay. So it was not, the ADR was not sudden in that case. So in that case, you have to say that an ADR reaction is a response to a drug which is noxious and unintended and which occurs at doses normally used in man for normal prophylaxis, diagnosis, or therapy of the disease for the modification of a physiological function. So that's the exact definition which I'm telling you. But to tell you simply, the drugs which are given for prophylaxis, diagnosis, or treatment of any condition, and if it is observed that these things, when that particular drug or vaccine is given, and it is causing an unintended reaction, and that reaction is related to the vaccine or the drug. And how do we know that? After long-term pharmacovigilance studies. Okay. So that can be bucketed as an ADR. It is not necessary that can be sudden. Sudden का तो हमें clinical trial में ही पता चल जाएगा ना. आपने कोई दवाई दी किसी patient को, उसको खाते ही allergic reaction हो गया, तो mostly the sudden adverse drug reactions one will be able to find during the clinical trial, not during the PVG, because in the PVG drug is already got the approval. Okay. And if there would have been some sudden reaction, then why the regulatory body would give the approval for that particular drug to be circulated in that particular market? Okay. So that is one correction.
Okay, ma'am.
So I'll take a pause here. I mean, if an audience, if anybody wants to ask anything,
Yes, guys, anyone have any answer or questions from your side? Audience, do you want to ask something?
Have a sir about AD.
Question. I think you are traveling, Arun.
Sir,
Your voice is not clear. Can you write?
now sir, voice clear or not, sir?
Yeah, it's clear. Please tell.
Sir, in my point of view, ADR is untoward side effect. It not be a time dependent. It occurs at any time, which is harmful to a patient. Sometimes they needs a prolongation in days in hospital, or it is untoward effect. Whether the patient has some unwanted effect when a drug it did not cause, but it is caused like that. That is comes under ADR, sir.
Okay.
okay. Yeah, maybe partially that answer is correct, but then for the specific answers, please visit the authenticated websites, or you can take the exact answers from even the EU website, or from the FDA websites where the exact definitions are written. Okay, so the next question is, what is Medra? Srishti, can you answer?
Srishti, please open your
Ma'am, Medra is a dictionary that is used to define, that is a drug dictionary, that is medicinal. DRA is for drug regulatory, dictionary regulatory dictionary.
Okay. Vishal, would you like to rectify this expansion more? I mean, what is your, how would you, what do you mean by Medra?
Ma'am, METRA basically stands for the Medical Dictionary for Regulatory Activities. And that means all kind of activities which will be regulated will be mentioned on that dictionary, and it will be completely made up by the ICH, that is the International Conference on Harmonizations. It is an international organization which controls these dictionaries, and it actually yearly or by yearly it published their Medra. According to that, they categorized the terms in different hierarchy, like SOC. SOC stands for the system organ class, and another term is the high level group term, high level terms, and preferred terms, and last term is the lowest level term. So in these 5 hierarchy, the Medra dictionary will be classified in which the terms are classified um, according to their class.
Yes, yes, very well answered, Vishal. So that means there are versions of Medra also?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you just told that revisions are being done to Medra.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and through your answer, I came to know that there are 5 hierarchies in Medra.
Yes,
The lowest being the LLT, lower level term, preferred term, higher level term, high level group term, HLGT, and SOC means system organ class.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, okay. Do you have any idea about the case processing?
Case processing.
No,
No, ma'am.
you don't have any idea. Srishti?
Ma'am, case processing involves medical coding because and these dictionaries could be Medra and WHO. They involve to code the drugs and the cases, and the case processing. Ma'am, I know only this much.
Okay. So let me tell you, I know this was not one of the questions which we had given you, but through Medra, why I specifically wanted to highlight this question, because the very role of Medra you will come to see when you are doing the case processing in pharmacovigilance. So case processing is kind of this is a very fundamental or the basic activity which is done in pharmacovigilance, where the individual case ICSR is, reported. Okay. So, for example, generally how it happens is, I'll try to tell you a little bit in brief that, for example, I took a drug. For example, I took paracetamol today. And that paracetamol, the manufacturer of that drug was, for example, Cipla. So when I took that drug, maybe I had an allergic reaction in my body. Okay. So what I will do is I will call on the customer care number where, in any medicine you would see that there is a number which is given at the back of or the patient information sheet or PIL, whatever you want to call it. The number is given where I can report the ADR or ADE, whatever they want to categorize it further. But then I will report that a particular untoward happening after having that drug, and then it will be reported as an event. So when I will report that event, that would be classified as then maybe the medical information team will ask me that was it immediately happened after taking the drug or the vaccine, or how did it happen? Was my drug expired, or did was the drug it was packed properly? When did from which place did I buy? So they will ask their questions. So if, for example, allergic reaction from paracetamol is not listed, it is not a listed event, and then it becomes a valid case. Okay. And we add these valid cases in the database. Okay. There are various databases like Argus, Oracle. There are many databases. Like, for example, I have worked in Argus. So these cases, once identified, are added in the database. So once they are entered, then they are studied over a period of time. Like, why certain drugs are withdrawn from the market. ऐसा तो नहीं होता है कि वो suddenly कहीं से हमें पता चला कि ये खराब है तो उसको निकाल दिया. There must be some study going on. So when we observe these studies, when we observe this data over a longer period of time, like paper reported that I took the Coxib drug, I took this, I was taking this drug for a longer period of time, then, maybe 10 people or out of 100, 70 reported that they had pancreatic cancer. So the relatedness can be found out through that basic case processing activity. So if you are entering a pharmacovigilance space, then you should know what is case processing, because generally in most of the organizations, case processing is the first activity which is given to a fresher. I mean, you will be asked to enter a case in their database, and in that database, you will have to categorize. There you will understand the meaning of, you will see the utilization of MEDRA. For example, I reported an allergic reaction. So for allergic reaction, LLT would be like allergy. Then HLGT would be allergic reaction. SOC would be anaphylaxis. So there you would see the hierarchy. So once that, why do we follow that hierarchy in case processing? Because through that, you will be able to bucket the adverse reactions or ADRs or ADEs, and then maybe you can raise a signal. Then the signals are being generated. So this is how the pharmacovigilance activity flows step by step. But if you are entering, if your aim is to enter the pharmacovigilance space, then it is very important for you to understand what is case processing, because any interviewer will ask you, what is case processing? What is the role of MEDRA in case processing? Okay. So was I clear on this? You can study it further, but I just briefly explained that what is the role of case processing. Because individual case ICSRs, individual case study reports, safety reports are, those cases are added in the database. And this is how the overall study happens. The overall accumulation of that data is studied, and then the signal for that particular drug is generated. For example, allergy is not reported as, is not listed in the you must have seen, if you see any drug, you will see that the side effects of the drug are XXX. You must have seen in any drug. But if allergy is not listed as an adverse drug reaction, then through a longer study or or the pharmacovigilance study, we will come to know that allergy is one of the side effects with paracetamol. So I will have to list that adverse drug reaction in the patient information leaflet or SMPC. Then you will come to know these terms once you will dig a deep dive into PVG. But please study more about case process.
Okay, ma'am.
Dr. Ajit, if you want to add anything to this, I mean, that was my knowledge so far in case processing and signal generation.
No, I think that was perfect, Dr. Akshima. That was perfect.
Yeah. Because in one of the organizations where I worked, I started my journey with like basic case processing. Then I had also worked on Signal. I also prepared PSURs, PADERs. So it's a journey. If you are entering a medical writing space, you are entering pharmacovigilance, it's a journey. You have to understand the basics, and then you will enjoy the higher steps of it. So I was very happy when I saw that how Signal is being generated. We studied all the ICSRs which we used to report in the database.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Srishti, can you tell me what is IND? And for Vishal, the question for you is NDA. What is IND and NDA?
Ma'am, IND is investigational new drug form, that is for the drug that is undergoing investigation. That has yet to come. So for the processes, we fill this form and it gets analyzed by the authorities.
Yes, Vishal, you can answer NDA.
Okay, sir. NDA stands for the new drug applications, which will be filed after the completion of 3 trials, that is phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. After that, the new drug applications will be filed to the DCGI, and according to the data of the 3 phases, DCGI take the actions about the approval of that application or not.
Yeah, right, Vishal. So basically the difference is IND is submitted before that drug gets the approval to be circulated in market, and NDA is basically to get the approval for that particular drug to be circulated in a particular area. Okay. Okay, so now what do you know about E2A, E2B, and E2C guidelines? Vishal, can you answer?
Yes, ma'am. These guidelines are mentioned in the ICH, that is International Control on Harmonization. E2A guidelines are basically for the definitions and the terminologies, aspects of the clinical safety reporting, and the E2B guidelines for the data elements, which is for the individual case safety reports, and E2C guidelines are for the periodic safety update reports for those drugs which are already in marketed drugs.
Yes. So very well explained, Vishal. So Srishti, can you tell me, out of E2A, E2B, and E2C guidelines, which guidelines is there for handling the expedited reporting of ADRs? Yes, very good. So I think you guys have read it quite nicely, so I don't have any further comments on this. Okay, how would you rate a particular event as under the seriousness criteria? What is the criteria for defining basically the seriousness? Vishal, can you answer? What are the criteria? There are 5 criteria.
Yes, ma'am. There is a 5 criteria, that is impact, consequence, urgency, and 4th one is the degree of control, and last one is context.
Srishti, can you answer this question?
Ma'am, these are prolonged hospitalization. It could be birth defect also, and it could be an illicit or inhibitory behavior, and it could be there was one prolonged ambulatory movement. I remember
congenital deformity.
that actually that I called as ambulatory movement. Sorry about that.
Okay, so there are 5 criteria for listing an event as serious. Okay. Okay, Vishal, can you tell me the difference between active and passive pharmacovigilance?
Yes, ma'am. Active surveillance is for those. There's two different methods which are used in pharmacovigilance. In active surveillance, there is those drugs which are in the markets and they have a serious side effects. Which those drugs have the required for the active surveillances, and those drugs which are for the long period of time, but still they need surveillances for those drugs. These methods comes under the passive surveillance.
So, Vishal, every drug needs a surveillance, but every drug which is flowing in the market needs surveillance. That answer is unfortunately incorrect when you are saying that certain drugs do not need. But passive surveillance is basically also called as spontaneous or voluntary reporting. Like an example I gave you, that after having paracetamol, I had an allergic reaction. So that kind of PVG, when I'm reporting an event of a patient or, the healthcare professional, or, a person who's patient's, caretaker is reporting a event, then it will come under as a passive surveillance. But active surveillance is, that means active measures to detect the events. And specifically speaking, phase 4 studies are basically to done to have the active surveillance. Many people might not even know that, but why phase 4 studies are conducted. There are 3 phases of clinical trial, but there is also phase 4 for clinical trial, which is asked by regulatory authority. So phase 4 clinical trial is to do the active surveillance of to detect the adverse events. Okay. So basically passive surveillance is being done throughout the life cycle of the drug, but active surveillance is generally done if some kind of event is coming up while taking that drug, or it is asked by the regulatory authority, specifically in phase 4. But every drug which is being consumed by humans do go under pharmacovigilance. It is a never-ending activity till the time that drug is in the market. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that's it, Dr. Ajit. I think.
Yes, perfectly fine. I think these both were good. And yes, I remember before the interview, Srishti was messaging me that, sir, I'm not, quite confident. But I told, no problem, you come and join us, you will learn. And I hope Dr. Akshma here has described everything very well, and she has answered all the questions. Even after your answers, she has, very well described all the questions and answers. She has correlated, nicely. And this session was amazing. View was amazing, and I hope, we would, we had boosted some of the confidence of these two as well. So now I'll invite 1 or 2 questions from audience, and I would invite Srishti and Vishal if they have any questions for us. Yes, guys, you also can ask the questions to Dr. Akshima.
So there is some guy, or I don't know if she's a girl, Urade has also mentioned life, death and life threatening as under the seriousness criteria.
Yeah.
How that, yes, those are also the 2 criteria. By heart, you should remember the 5 seriousness criteria, because this question will be definitely asked. death, life-threatening, congenital deformity, a prolonged hospitalization, and the last one which you mentioned, Vishal. These 5 criteria are to be remembered by heart.
So guys, do you have any? Yes, please.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yeah. Hi. Hello everyone. This is Rahul Urade, and the seriousness criteria are means death, life-threatening, congenital anomaly, disability, medically significant. These are the main criteria.
And prolonged hospitalization.
Prolonged
also.
hospitalization.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are certain things, audience, like they will be asked in any interview. And if you fail to answer these basic questions, they will not ask further questions from you. So like I remember for medical writing, the CTD triangle is basically the heart of all the, you will have this question anywhere you go for, an interview for medical writing job. And similarly, the seriousness criteria, case ICSR, what is ICSR, individual case safety report, and what is the role of an ICSR, what is case processing. These are very basic and fundamental questions, because as a fresher, most of you would be hired for the case processing jobs. You would not be given PSUR or PADER writing unless and until you have done few case ICSR submissions in the database. So please remember these questions when you are going for an interview.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Akshima, I have one question to you. How do you rate their body languages?
Yeah, I felt.
That's also important. Yes.
Yeah, both of them are confident, but why? I mean, I would rate Srishti a bit higher on her confidence than Vishal. Obviously, Vishal is also quite confident, but I think making an eye-to-eye contact with the interviewer is one basic requirement, which I felt Srishti was making more than Vishal. Even though Vishal is also confident, I would not rate him as an underconfident person or who cannot speak. And overall, on the communication skills, I would rate Srishti a bit higher than Vishal.
Okay, great. Perfect.
But on the technical skills, I would rate Vishal higher, because he had studied the subject, because specifically the pharmacovigilance definition, which Vishal had narrated, and he added his own definition and added his own view also. So I liked it. It was not mugged. It was he had remembered the basic definition, but he added his version also to it. So I liked it.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, that's also very important. That's why I asked purposely this question. Okay, body language is very important for the interviewer as well. Okay. So I hope, we have no questions right now. So we can wind up, guys.
But Dr. Ajit, you should also ask the audience that how would they rate me as an interviewer? I take a lot of interviews for my company, but unfortunately, I cannot ask this question there because it is always regulated by HR. But
No,
here I I have that privilege of getting the rating for myself also as an interviewer.
No, Dr. Akshima, I don't think we should ask, our participant, because I have the very, what we say, genuine feedback from Sarabji, and she was telling that Akshima is one of the wonderful interview, and she takes a lot of interviews in her organization, and we should call her definitely. And she screws the people as well. She was telling that because she has a great knowledge, and she always wants people to come up with the great knowledge as well. So I think no need to ask anyone, but it was amazing, and I can see how you have conducted all the how you have framed all the questions, and you have conducted this interview. So it was amazing, Dr. Akshima. So it was lovely. Yes.
Thank you for the kind words, Dr. Ajit, and all the best to everyone in the team. Believe in yourself, and definitely there is one position for you. Never compare yourself to others. Be in your own journey. When I started my journey, I thought that I will not be able to make it, but somewhere I'm sitting somewhere. So there is one position waiting for you somewhere. So that is only for you. That is not for anyone else. So that
Absolutely.
will come of your way.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Susmita, please.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. I had a question to ask.
Please go ahead.
And ma'am, at the end of an interview, we are generally asked that if we have any questions for the interviewers. So at that time, what exactly can we ask and what we should not ask to the interviewers?
Okay, that's a very good question, Sushmita. So I'll tell my version, and obviously then Dr. Ajit can add. I also wanted an answer to it, frankly, that what to ask an interviewer when we are closing the session. And believe me, like I have given so many interviews, and I always used to be very nice, gentle. No, I don't have any questions. Interview session was very good, because nobody wants to leave a bad impression on the interviewer, and everybody wants to behave very nicely and very sophisticated manner. But frankly speaking, off late, and maybe like 5-6 times when last time I had faced, I was very I used to ask interviewer very clearly, then when can I expect if you have shortlisted me, when can I expect the call from the HR or from the next round? So I was, whatever there was there in my heart, would you give a complete work from home option, or would it be a hybrid mode? I will ask whatever was there in my mind, and which would bother me to sign that job. So, whoever is interviewing you will be very happy to have, an honest question or an answer from your side.
Yes.
So I used to ask whatever I used to feel.
Yes, and
Yes,
I would
ma'am.
like to add to this that you should be very frank, as she said, and you should ask the interviewer that what are the rooms for the improvement? How was my interview, and where should I improve further? So that also you can add and you can ask to the interviewer.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, great. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Akshima. Thank you, Srishti, and thank you, Vishal, for coming for this mock interview. And thank you guys for showing up. And we'll be editing